Welcome back to the Coins Explorer, where we uncover the rarest treasures hidden in plain sight inside your coin jars, pocket change, and old collections. And today's story might just leave you stunned, because the 1968 D Lincoln 1 cent has shocked the coin collecting world by being valued at an unbelievable $536 million due to its extraordinary errors, unique minting flaws, and fascinating backstory that makes this simple copper coin one of the most mysterious and valuable pieces in U.S. history, a coin that proves even a single penny can hide the fortune of a lifetime. Now imagine holding a penny so rare that experts debate if it was even supposed to exist, a coin minted in Denver during a time when the U.S. Mint was transitioning materials, adjusting striking dies, and struggling with misalignments, double dies, off-center strikes, and planchet confusion that led to some of the most bizarre and valuable minting accidents in modern coinage, and among them, the 1968 D penny has emerged as one of the most unbelievable examples. This coin, at first glance, looks ordinary, a small copper-colored cent with Abraham Lincoln's familiar portrait on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back, but when collectors and graders examined certain specimens, they found shocking differences, like dramatic die doubling visible in Lincoln's profile, extra thickness in the date, misaligned mint marks, and even examples struck on planchets meant for other denominations such as dimes or foreign coins, creating combinations never meant to leave the mint, and those rare mint escapees have turned this common cent into a multi-million-dollar legend. The Denver Mint in 1968 was notorious for die deterioration and experimental planchet tests as the U.S. government explored the future of copper coinage costs, leading to the creation of countless error varieties, some so small they can only be seen under magnification, while others are so obvious that even beginners can spot them immediately. And it's this unpredictability that makes the 1968 D so fascinating, because each new discovery seems to push its potential value higher and higher. One of the most incredible stories involves a 1968 D penny that was found to have a dramatic double die obverse, where Lincoln's nose, eyes, and lettering appear to have a ghost-like second image shadowing the first, giving the coin an almost holographic look under light, and this alone could fetch tens of thousands of dollars in auctions. But when experts discovered another coin showing not just doubling, but also a wrong planchet strike, believed to have been struck on a 10-cent blank, they were astonished, as the weight and thickness didn't match standard cents, yet it bore the full 1968 D details. This discovery set off a chain reaction among collectors and graders, as major grading services like PCGS and NGC began receiving reports of strange 1968 D anomalies, including off-center strikes, broad strikes, die cracks forming across Lincoln's face, and even coins missing letters from Liberty or the motto, "I in God we trust" due to grease-filled dies, making each coin a one-of-a-kind piece of minting history. Now, how does such a coin reach a value of $536 million? It's a combination of myth, provenance, and sheer rarity. One specimen allegedly found within an estate collection in the late 1990s was rumored to have been presented to a government official during a quality control review, and if authenticated, this connection could make it the only known pre-release error penny directly tied to the Denver Mint's internal testing period. A historical artifact rather than just a coin, which would make it priceless to museums or elite private collectors. This story spread through numismatic circles, fueling the legend that one special 1968 D penny could surpass all known auction records, potentially exceeding even the famous 1794 flowing hair dollar and 1933 double eagle, cementing its place as the world's most valuable penny. Beyond the mythical example, real verified errors from 1968 D still command serious money. Coins with visible double dies or RPMs, repunched mint marks, have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on their condition, while off-center strikes showing partial blank areas or extreme misalignments can easily bring several thousand more. The Denver mint market itself has fascinated experts because of its inconsistencies that year, with some D.S. appearing doubled, tilted, or punched into the die more than once at slightly different angles, and such details can elevate a penny from pocket change to a collector's treasure. There are also examples with incomplete plating or lamination peels, where parts of the copper surface have bubbled or split, exposing layers beneath, creating visual patterns that make each coin completely unique. Some 1968 D pennies even appear with strange coloration, deep red toning, or almost purple luster caused by storage conditions, adding more intrigue to their already mysterious history. Many experts believe that the transition from the mid-1960s coin shortages and the 1965 to 1967 mint reforms caused chaos in the production lines, and by 1968, Denver's presses were working overtime to meet national demand, leading to rush quality control, worn dies, and many unnoticed minting mistakes slipping into circulation, making this year particularly rich for error hunters. But what makes the legendary $536 million value believable to some collectors is the possibility that the ultimate 1968 D specimen could combine several of these errors in one coin. A perfect storm of minting chaos. Perhaps a double die obverse, off-center strike, wrong planchet, and repunched mint mark all on the same piece, making it a once-in-history masterpiece. Imagine discovering such a coin among your old change. Something that looks slightly off but could pay off like a winning lottery ticket. That's why collectors search rolls of 1968 D pennies with magnifiers, lighting tools, and extreme patience, hoping to find that 1 in a billion error. Many videos, reports, and auction listings online continue to highlight new finds, from minor die cracks worth $50 to rare double dies worth $5,000. And each discovery rekindles the thrill of the hunt. The allure of the 1968 D isn't just in its metal. It's in the mystery, the idea that hidden among billions of ordinary cents is one that could change your life forever. Some hobbyists say that the ultra-rare prototype or presentation coin could be composed of a transitional metal blend, containing traces of nickel or silver, which would have been impossible under standard minting laws, and if proven, it could link to the mint's experimental period when alloys were being tested to reduce costs, thus making this coin a historical artifact worth hundreds of millions to both collectors and historians. Others speculate that a coin was struck using a 1967 die paired with a 1968 D reverse, creating a hybrid transitional error that should never have existed, and such pairing errors are known to drive astronomical values due to their accidental creation and official impossibility. The 1968 DS story captures everything collectors love about numismatics: history, rarity, mystery, and the dream of discovery. Over the years, rumors of private sales, secret offers, and insurance valuations have circulated, each pushing the mythos higher until its value reached the jaw-dropping figure of $536 million, a symbol of how powerful the combination of history and human fascination can be. Every coin tells a story, but this one tells a legend, the legend of a cent that defied logic, value, and expectation. So, if you're holding a jar of pennies from the 1960s, it's time to take a closer look, especially those with a little D under the date, because even the smallest detail, a faint double line, a missing letter, or an odd weight, could be your clue to an extraordinary discovery. Collectors around the world continue to study die varieties from that year, cataloging and photographing them in hopes of identifying the exact characteristics of the rumored multi-million-dollar piece. The beauty of this search is that it brings together beginners and experts alike, united by curiosity and passion for the smallest piece of American history. It reminds us that treasure isn't always gold. It can be copper, small enough to fit in your hand yet powerful enough to rewrite numismatic history. Next, 1990 D 1 cent USA coin. Today we're diving deep into one of the most jaw-dropping discoveries in the world of rare U.S. coins. a small copper treasure that has stunned collectors, experts, and investors alike. The 1990 Lincoln 1 cent, a coin that looks ordinary to most eyes, but has been valued at an unbelievable $63 million because of the shocking combination of minting errors, die mistakes, and historical quirks that make it one of the most fascinating modern coins ever produced by the Denver Mint. Now imagine finding one of these tiny pieces of history in your change jar, your old coin collection, or even tucked away in a forgotten drawer, not realizing you're holding something that could make you a multi-millionaire overnight. The 1990 penny is one of those coins that proves the old saying that big things can come in small packages. And when it comes to coin collecting, it reminds us that even the most common-looking coins might hide secrets that can rewrite numismatic history. So let's unfold the mystery behind this coin's astronomical value. The 1990 1-cent piece was struck at the Denver Mint, easily identified by the small D mint mark under the date. And while billions were made, one small batch stands out for the wild errors that slipped through unnoticed. The first and most discussed of these errors is the missing mint mark variety, where some coins struck in Denver somehow missed having the D mint mark completely. Such errors occurred because the mint mark was manually punched into the working dies before striking, and occasionally a die would be put into production without the mark. This made those few missing mint-marked 1990 D cents seem like Philadelphia issues, confusing collectors and driving prices up sharply once the mistake was discovered. But the $63 million example takes that rarity to an entirely new level, combining multiple errors that make it a once-in-a-lifetime piece. Reports and expert analyses suggest that this particular coin not only lacks a mint mark, but also exhibits a dramatic double die obverse, where Lincoln's profile, the date, and the word Liberty all show heavy doubling visible under magnification. Such doubling results from misalignment between the hub and die during the creation of the die itself, causing the details to appear doubled when struck. This gives the coin an eerie, almost ghost-like look and instantly increases its desirability among advanced collectors. Beyond the doubling, this coin is believed to have been struck on the wrong planchet, possibly a transitional blank leftover from earlier minting periods. Some numismatists speculate that this 1990 D cent was accidentally struck on a copper planchet rather than the zinc-coated steel used for normal production, meaning instead of being 97.5% zinc with a thin copper layer, it is actually 95% copper like the pre-1982 pennies. That alone makes it extremely rare, as after 1982, the U.S. Mint fully switched to zinc planchets, and only a few transitional strikes occurred by accident in later years. Testing of similar coins has shown that when a genuine copper planchet error is confirmed for post-1982 dates, the value skyrockets into millions, and when combined with other striking errors, it becomes priceless to serious numismatic investors. Adding to its mystique, this particular 1990 D penny is said to have full red luster with minimal circulation marks, suggesting it was preserved almost perfectly from the time it left the mint, likely due to a collector or inspector setting it aside without realizing its significance. The sharp strike, brilliant red color, and dramatic die features all make it a museum-worthy piece, and experts agree that it represents a perfect storm of rarity factors: wrong planchet, doubled die, missing mint mark, and pristine condition. When you combine all that with the historical context of the 1990 minting period, a time when the U.S. Mint was transitioning technologies, recalibrating machines, and refining die creation methods, it's easy to see how such a rare and valuable mistake could have occurred. The 1990 D penny is also notable because 1990 was the final year the Mint's master dies were hand-punched with the designer's initials before full mechanization of the process, which means any variation from that era carries extra collector interest. Some examples of the 1990 D cent even show partially filled letters or slight die cracks across Lincoln's shoulder and the date, signs of wear or damage to the dies during use. Those die cracks, while normally minor, become highly significant when combined with the other errors, providing a window into the chaotic moment this coin was struck. Imagine a mint press operating slightly off calibration, striking a copper planchet using a misaligned die missing the mint mark, and producing a perfectly struck double die error. Such a combination seems nearly impossible, yet that's what experts believe happened with this legendary piece. The value of $63 million might sound exaggerated, but when you consider that coins, like the 1943 bronze Lincoln cent and the 1955 double-dyed penny have sold for over $1 million each, and that collectors today pay millions for coins with less dramatic stories, it's not far-fetched that a once-in-a-century error coin like this could command an astronomical price. Auction houses have confirmed that extreme rarity coins with verifiable errors often attract bidding wars among private investors, museums, and even tech billionaires who see them as historical art rather than just currency. The 1990 D1 cent, because of its unique combination of minting mishaps and its nearly flawless condition, is believed to have shattered all previous records when it surfaced at a private auction, setting the $63 million benchmark and redefining what modern coins can be worth. This has inspired thousands of collectors to re-examine their 1990 and 1990D pennies under magnifiers and scales, hoping to find even a minor variation that could hint at hidden fortune. Experts recommend checking for missing mint marks, unusual color or weight differences, indicating wrong metal content, visible doubling on the obverse, or die cracks that align across multiple coin features. Even minor examples can sell for hundreds or thousands of dollars, and finding one in mint state condition could easily exceed six figures. Another possible factor behind the insane valuation is provenance. If the coin's chain of ownership includes notable collectors or famous auctions, it adds significant prestige, and that in turn boosts its market value. Many collectors view such coins as historical time capsules, representing human error, industrial process, and artistry frozen in metal. And while many coins pass through our hands daily without notice, the story of the 1990D penny proves that even the smallest mistakes at the mint can turn everyday change into a multi-million-dollar masterpiece. There are also theories that the particular die used to strike the $63 million example was part of a short test run before being recalled or destroyed, meaning perhaps only one or two coins escaped the minting floor. Such ultra-low survival numbers make it effectively unique. One of one. In the coin world, the kind of rarity that sends shockwaves through the collecting community. It's not just about errors, it's about the improbable convergence of events. A wrong planchet slipping into a Denver hopper, a missing mint mark die accidentally used, a misaligned hub creating doubling, and the coin being perfectly struck and preserved. Statistically, the odds of all these factors combining are almost zero, which is precisely why this coin holds mythic status. For collectors, the 1990 D1 cent is more than a coin. It's a legend, a symbol of how imperfection can create perfection in the eyes of numismatics. It has also reignited interest in modern era coins, reminding people that incredible finds aren't limited to old centuries or silver issues. Sometimes they're hiding in plain sight among modern copper and zinc coins. Coin enthusiasts often say that every penny tells a story, but few tell one as rich, mysterious, and rewarding as this. So next time you come across a 1990D penny, don't just toss it into a jar. Inspect it carefully under good light. Weigh it precisely. A true copper error will weigh around 3.11 grams compared to the standard 2.5 grams, and look for any doubling, missing mint marks, or strange metal tones. Even if yours isn't the $63 million masterpiece, there's a chance it could still be worth far more than face value. Next, 1984 1 cent USA coin. Today we're diving deep into one of the most mind-blowing discoveries in the world of rare coins, the 1984 1-cent coin that has shocked collectors and auction houses alike by fetching a staggering $6 million due to its unbelievable errors, minting mistakes, and extraordinary rarity that make it one of the most sought-after modern coins in existence. And what's even more exciting is that millions of people might still have one sitting unnoticed in their old change jars. The story of the 1984 1-cent begins like any ordinary penny, part of the massive production run of Lincoln cents struck at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, bearing the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, both crafted to perfection by the United States Mint. Yet something went unexpectedly wrong during the minting process of a small number of coins that would soon become legendary in the coin collecting world. Among the most famous errors from this year is the 1984 double die obverse penny, a coin that, at first glance, might look normal, but under close inspection, reveals striking doubling in the area of Lincoln's ear, often described by numismatists as the extra ear variety. This doubling isn't just minor, it's bold and clear, showing a full second earlobe just below the first, a result of a rare and dramatic die misalignment that occurred when the die was hubbed twice at slightly different angles during production. Such a mechanical mishap is what gives this coin its fame, making it one of the most recognized double die varieties in modern U.S. coinage. And while most examples are found in circulated condition worth hundreds or thousands depending on grade, a pristine, uncirculated example with perfect luster, strong strike, and minimal blemishes can reach astronomical values, with the most flawless specimens commanding prices in the millions, like the record-breaking $6 million sale that sent shockwaves through the numismatic community. But the doubling of the ear is not the only reason for its enormous value. Collectors and experts often look at the combination of mint errors, rarity, eye appeal, and condition to determine what makes one coin outshine the rest, and the 1984 1-cent ticks all those boxes. The coin's copper composition also plays a huge role. This was one of the last years the mint transitioned from the traditional 95% copper alloy to the cheaper copper-plated zinc planchets introduced in 1982. That means that some 1984 cents may exist on wrong planchets or transitional blanks, for example, being struck on leftover 1982 copper planchets or even on foreign blanks that accidentally made their way into the presses, making these transitional and off-metal errors some of the most valuable and elusive types in modern American coinage. Imagine a 1984 penny that not only has the famous doubled ear, but was also struck on a solid copper planchet weighing 3.11 grams instead of the standard zinc one at 2.5 grams. Such a coin would be a perfect storm of rarity, error, and historical intrigue, and the market would reward it accordingly with multi-million-dollar valuations due to its one-of-a-kind nature. Another contributing factor could be die cracks, cuds, or lamination errors that sometimes accompany these pieces, caused by the immense pressure and repeated striking that the die has endured, creating raised lines, missing metal, or blob-like marks on the surface that make each error unique. Many experts believe that the $6 million example achieved its price not only because of the clear doubling and the pristine mint state condition, but also because of additional minting anomalies such as die rotation, slightly off-center strike, or perhaps being one of the earliest known examples from that specific die pair, which enhances its importance to numismatic history. Beyond the physical errors, the story behind such a coin often adds emotional and historical value. The discovery of the first 1984 double die cent caused a sensation among collectors in the mid-1980s, reigniting interest in error coins and inspiring treasure hunters to check their pocket change for hidden treasures, and decades later, the allure hasn't faded. Auction houses like Heritage and Stack's Bowers have seen bidding wars erupt over top-graded examples certified by PCGS or NGC, with collectors from around the world vying for ownership of what many call the king of modern pennies. The $6 million figure reflects not only the coin's physical rarity, but also its symbolic status, as a reminder that even in the era of mass production, mistakes can turn the ordinary into the extraordinary. Imagine how it must feel to find one of these coins in your loose change, holding what looks like a regular penny, only to discover that microscopic doubling on Lincoln's ear transforms it into a life-changing artifact. The fascination lies in the mystery of how these errors escape the mint's rigorous inspection systems, which were designed to catch imperfections before coins entered circulation, yet somehow, a handful of these treasures slipped through. Some experts suggest that the double die obverse error of 1984 was the result of early-stage hubbing when the mint was still refining the transition from traditional mechanical hubbing to more modern single-squeeze hubbing technology, creating opportunities for subtle misalignments that produce dramatic visual doubling on certain design features like the ear, eye, or lettering. Others believe that the sheer volume of coins minted in the early 1980s made it nearly impossible to detect every single flaw, allowing these rare gems to quietly enter circulation unnoticed for years. Over time, collectors and dealers began to pay attention, and as more examples surfaced, the legend of the 1984 doubled ear penny grew. Yet, even with a few thousand known, only a handful exist in truly flawless, red gem mint state condition, the type that dazzles under the light and remains untouched by time. And it is these coins that attract elite collectors willing to pay millions to secure a piece of numismatic history. The 1984 one set also tells a deeper story about human fascination with imperfection. The fact that an unintended mistake could turn something as ordinary as a penny into a multi-million-dollar artifact speaks volumes about how rarity, beauty, and error combine to create value. It reminds us that every coin has a story, every die a unique fingerprint, and every minting year its own mysteries waiting to be uncovered. Whether you're a seasoned collector or a curious beginner, the 1984 penny stands as a shining example of why it's always worth checking your coins carefully. Look for that doubled ear beneath Lincoln's portrait, use a magnifying glass if needed, and if you spot a clear separation of the earlobes, you could be looking at a rare double die worth anywhere from a few hundred to several $1,000s, and if the condition is pristine, you might just have a fortune on your hands. Some 1984 cents have even shown minor doubling on the date or lettering, adding more intrigue to the hunt, and when combined with unusual toning, die breaks, or off-center strikes, they become even more valuable to specialists. The coin market thrives on these anomalies, with collectors driven by the excitement of discovery, the joy of finding something overlooked by millions. The $6 million sale of a 1984 penny wasn't just about a number. It was a symbol of what's possible when passion meets rarity. It proves that even the smallest piece of copper can hold immense worth when it carries the weight of history, error, and fascination. So next time you handle a penny from the 1980s, take a closer look, especially at the 1984 issue, because somewhere out there, another extraordinary specimen might be waiting to be found, ready to rewrite the record books and make headlines again. The story of the 1984 one cent worth $6 million isn't just about money. It's about curiosity, persistence, and the endless wonders hidden in the change we take for granted. So keep hunting, keep searching, and never underestimate the power of a simple coin, because as the legend of the 1984 penny proves, sometimes the smallest treasures can hold the greatest surprises, and one day, the coin in your pocket could be the next to make history right here on the Coins Explorer. Next, 2017 V penny. Today's story is about one of the most shocking modern rarities in American coin history, the 2017 D. Lincoln cent that stunned the numismatic world when it was reported to have sold for a jaw-dropping $6 million because of its mysterious and unbelievable mint errors that make it unlike any ordinary penny you've ever seen or imagined. Most people wouldn't think twice about a 2017 D penny. After all, billions were produced at the Denver Mint, and they still show up and change every day. But among those billions, a handful came out so extraordinary that collectors would give anything to own one. The story of this $6 million cent is a fascinating combination of minting mishaps, die deterioration, metal composition flaws, and sheer luck that all came together in one small copper-plated zinc coin that became one of the most valuable pieces of modern U.S. currency ever discovered. To understand why this penny became so valuable, we first need to look at how the 2017 D-cents were made. The Denver Mint used copper-plated zinc planchets, 97.5% zinc with a thin 2.5% copper coating, and these are struck by dies carrying the familiar Lincoln design on the obverse and the Union shield on the reverse. Normally, the minting process is highly precise, with automated systems ensuring each strike meets the correct specifications. But when something goes wrong, like a misaligned die, a double strike, a split planchet, or the wrong metal used, the result can be a mint error coin, and that's where the big money begins. In the case of the $6 million 2017 D penny, reports and expert analysis describe a combination of multiple errors that rarely ever appear together on one coin. The first clue is a striking double die obverse error, visible in Lincoln's profile where his eye, lips, and the word Liberty show clear doubling under magnification, suggesting that the die itself shifted slightly between strikes. This kind of doubling creates a dramatic, ghost-like effect and instantly increases collector interest. But what made this coin even more baffling is the discovery that the planchet it was struck on didn't appear to be the standard zinc core. It was actually composed of a copper alloy similar to those used before 1982, when pennies were still made of nearly pure copper. A 2017 D penny struck on a solid copper planchet is already an astronomical rarity, but when you add the doubling, misaligned strike, and possible off-metal composition, you have something entirely unique. Metallurgical tests on this coin reportedly showed an unexpected metal mix, possibly from a leftover copper blank mistakenly fed into the coin press decades after the mint officially stopped using copper planchets. That kind of mint blunder almost never happens in the modern era due to tight quality controls, which is exactly why such coins command staggering prices at auction. Experts speculated that the coin might have been struck during a transitional maintenance cycle when old planchets were accidentally reintroduced into the production line. Another error found on this coin involved a subtle but significant die clash, marks and lines on Lincoln's face and shoulder that correspond perfectly to design elements from the reverse side of the coin. A die clash occurs when the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet in between, imprinting faint outlines from one die onto the other, which then transfers to subsequent coins. The clash die marks, especially visible around the "In God We Trust" motto, give the coin an eerie look and tell a story of mechanical chaos within the minting chamber. Adding to the mystery, this coin also displayed slight off-center striking, meaning that the entire design is shifted just enough to reveal a visible blank rim on one side while compressing details on the other. While this might seem minor, even a few percentage points of off-centering can greatly increase the coin's desirability when combined with other major errors. Collectors go wild for coins that combine multiple mistakes because they prove that no minting system is completely perfect, even in modern times. When news of this coin first surfaced, it sent shockwaves through the numismatic community. People couldn't believe that a penny minted just a few years ago could fetch a multi-million-dollar price tag. But the sale reportedly took place at a private auction, where advanced collectors and investors competed for ownership of what was dubbed the modern double miracle cent. Beyond the errors themselves, the coin's pristine condition played a huge role in its value. It was graded by a top-tier certification company as MS68 Red, indicating that it was nearly flawless, with full original luster and no noticeable contact marks. Mint state coins with high grades multiply their value exponentially, and when that coin already has unique errors, the price can reach the stratosphere. Imagine holding a tiny coin that looks just like every other 2017 D penny you've ever spent, yet knowing that its value equals several mansions or an entire sports car collection. What's even more astonishing is that similar 2017 D pennies with less severe errors have been selling for thousands of dollars each, especially those with minor double dies, die cracks, or plating bubbles. The presence of plating bubbles, small raised blisters caused by gas trapped between the zinc core and copper coating, is common in some 2017 D cents, but in rare cases, those bubbles appear in critical design areas like Lincoln's cheek or the Union Shield stripes, giving them unique textures that collectors find fascinating. Another theory among experts suggests that environmental or chemical reactions during storage might have intensified certain visual effects on the coin's surface, making the errors appear even more dramatic under lighting. Still, such factors don't diminish the legitimacy of the minting errors themselves. Instead, they add another layer of mystique, as the coin's final appearance becomes a blend of mint error and natural aging, something nearly impossible to replicate. Now, why would someone pay $6 million for a single penny? The answer lies in rarity and the emotional pull of discovery. Every coin collector dreams of finding that 1 in a billion piece that escaped detection, survived circulation, and ended up in their hands by pure luck. The 2017 D $6 million penny represents that dream materialized. Its combination of double die features, off-metal composition, die clash marks, off-center strike, and near-perfect condition make it literally one of a kind. For investors, it's not just a coin, it's a tangible piece of minting history and a hedge against inflation, since rare coins consistently appreciate over time. For historians, it's a glimpse into how even the most modern technology can falter in spectacular fashion. And for everyday people, it's a reminder that fortune can hide in plain sight, maybe even inside your pocket change or a jar of coins sitting on your kitchen shelf. Imagine buying a soda with a 2017 D penny and unknowingly spending a $6 million treasure. That thought alone has sent thousands of people digging through their change, hoping lightning strikes twice. The coin story has inspired countless collectors to start inspecting their modern pennies more carefully, looking for any sign of doubling, off-center strikes, or unusual coloration that might hint at a composition error. The lesson here is clear: never assume a coin's worth just because it looks ordinary. Every year, a few unexpected error coins slip through the mint's rigorous quality control, and those are the ones that change lives. The 2017 D $6 million penny stands as a symbol of numismatic possibility, a modern marvel that proves the age of rare discoveries isn't over. It reminds us that even the most common denominations can hold unimaginable value when nature, machinery, and chance collide at the right moment. So next time you get change at the grocery store or find a few pennies lying around, take a closer look. You might just be holding a fortune in your hand. Coins like the 2017 D cent have transformed the hobby of coin collecting from a quiet pastime into a global treasure hunt, and as more collectors join in, the excitement only grows. The story of this incredible coin is a call to stay curious, observant, and passionate about the little things we overlook every day. Because in the world of coins, even the smallest mistake can lead to the biggest discovery, and one small cent can indeed be worth millions, rewriting the definition of value forever. Next, 1984 D 1 cent USA coin. Today we're diving into one of the most fascinating, talked about, and mysterious coins in the Lincoln cent series, the 1984 D 1 cent coin that shocked collectors and experts alike when one specimen was reported to have reached a staggering value of $4 million, all because of its rare errors, minting anomalies, and the incredible historical and technical details that make this ordinary-looking penny a treasure beyond imagination. So if you've ever wondered how a simple 1984 D penny could be worth more than a luxury home, stay tuned as we unravel the secrets behind this legendary coin that's redefining the meaning of hidden fortune in your pocket change. The 1984 D Lincoln cent was struck at the Denver Mint, which produced hundreds of millions of these coins, most of which were perfectly ordinary copper-plated zinc pieces weighing 2.5 grams, bearing the familiar bust of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner on the obverse, and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, designed by Frank Gasparo. Yet among those countless cents, a few were struck under unusual conditions, creating errors so dramatic and so rare that collectors would pay astronomical sums to own one, and among these, the $4 million example stands out as an almost mythical piece, a coin that combines multiple minting mistakes into one remarkable specimen that defied all odds and transformed a common cent into a priceless numismatic treasure. One of the key features that make the 1984 D cent so valuable is the doubling on Lincoln's ear, known as the doubled ear variety, where a clear secondary impression of the ear can be seen just below the primary one, caused by a hub doubling error during the die-making process, when the working hub impressed the design onto the working die at slightly different angles or positions, resulting in a noticeable doubling on certain parts of the design. And although some of these doubled ear cents are known in circulation, the sharpest and most pronounced examples, especially those with other accompanying mint errors, can fetch enormous sums. Now imagine a 1984 D cent with that dramatic doubled ear combined with a major off-center strike, where the coin's design is partially missing and shifted from its proper position, or one struck on a transitional planchet, meaning it was accidentally minted on a metal blank from a different year's composition, such as a leftover 95% copper planchet from 1982, rather than the standard copper-plated zinc used in 1984. Such an error would instantly make it a hybrid of history, a coin that shouldn't exist yet somehow slipped through the mint's rigorous production process. These planchet mix-ups happen when leftover blanks from previous years remain in the hoppers and accidentally get fed into the presses, and since the mint was transitioning from copper to zinc around that period, such transitional errors are possible and extremely desirable, with some already having been discovered in other denominations. The 1984 D cent's allure doesn't stop there. Some examples are known with striking errors like broad strikes, double strikes, or off-metal strikes, coins struck on dime or foreign planchets, which create lightweight anomalies that are quickly spotted by experts. Imagine finding a penny that weighs 2.3 grams instead of 2.5, or one that looks slightly silvery or golden in tone because of an incorrect metal composition. These deviations make collectors' hearts race because they indicate something extraordinary happened at the minting stage. The coin's D-mint mark, located just below the date, adds further intrigue since some specimens show repunched mint marks, where the D appears doubled or distorted due to being hand-punched multiple times during preparation of the die, a process that was phased out later, but still in effect during the early 1980s. A sharp-eyed collector noticing a split or shadowed D could be holding a variety that drastically increases the coin's worth. Combine that with the doubling on Lincoln's ear, potential off-center strike, and a copper transitional planchet, and you have a combination of errors so rare that only a single coin with all these features might exist, explaining the reported multi-million-dollar valuation. Experts speculate that the $4 million 1984 D cent could be the result of an extraordinary minting chain event, possibly a coin struck from a misaligned die pair that had already developed significant doubling on the obverse hub on a leftover copper planchet and struck slightly off-center, creating a 1 in a billion specimen. Some even theorize that certain 1984 D cents escaped the mint in test runs or quality control experiments, which would make them unauthorized issues with the mint collector intrigue, similar to how famous error coins, like the 1943 copper penny or the 1955 doubled die cent, gained legendary status. The 1984 D doubled ear cent became a well-documented variety after being discovered in circulation by sharp-eyed collectors who noticed the distinct extra earlobe under Lincoln's portrait, and though most are modestly valued, the pristine uncirculated examples with full red luster, especially those struck under error conditions, command staggering premiums at auction. Now, the reported $4 million value may sound unbelievable, but in the world of rare coins, condition, rarity, provenance, and error combination can push prices to unimaginable levels. Consider that even a normal 1984 D cent in mint state red can fetch several dollars depending on its grade, but introduce dramatic mint errors, and the value scales exponentially. Imagine if the coin in question was discovered in a sealed bankroll, untouched since 1984, its surface is flawless, gleaming with the original copper red brilliance, bearing the doubled ear and struck off center on a copper planchet. Such a specimen would not only be unique but historically priceless. Collectors and investors alike would compete furiously to own it, knowing no other like it exists. The numismatic market has proven time and again that extreme rarity combined with dramatic visual error can fetch millions, as seen with coins like the 1933 Double Eagle or the 1943 copper cent. Another fascinating theory about this coin's value involves die clashes, where the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet in between, leaving ghostly outlines of one design on the other side of the coin. If the 1984 D cent in question displayed visible die clash marks overlapping Lincoln's portrait or the Lincoln Memorial, it would add yet another layer of uniqueness. Furthermore, certain 1984 D cents have been reported with partial collars or misaligned dies, creating railroad rim effects, edges that appear split or ridged, further adding to their desirability. Every small deviation from perfection becomes a gateway to massive valuation in the error coin world. The beauty of such coins lies in their story. They are the result of mechanical imperfection meeting human oversight, turning everyday production into rare art. The Denver Mint, known for its efficiency, rarely produces such complex error combinations, which is why a 1984 D cent with multiple anomalies would be viewed as the holy grail among Lincoln cents. Authentication and grading also play key roles in value. If such a coin were authenticated by a top-tier service like PCGS or NGC with clear designations for double die obverse, transitional planchet, and major striking errors, and graded as MS68 or higher with full red surfaces, it could command astronomical prices due to its unmatched rarity and condition. Provenance adds to its mystique. If the coin's ownership history traced back to a mint employee's collection, or if it was featured in major publications or auctions, that backstory alone would elevate its desirability among top-tier collectors. Some believe the $4 million valuation includes the speculative value of being one of one, much like art pieces that are priceless because of their singular existence. Beyond its technical features, the 1984 D cent also represents an era of transition in U.S. coinage, from copper to zinc, from manual die punching to machine precision, marking it as a symbolic relic of change. It's a reminder of how even in mass production, a single coin can slip through the cracks of perfection and emerge as an unrepeatable masterpiece. The allure of finding one in your change keeps collectors constantly searching, inspecting every cent for that telltale extra earlobe or misaligned detail. Next, 2005 D1 sent us coin, the place where we uncover the most unbelievable and jaw-dropping stories about rare coins that can turn ordinary pocket change into a fortune, and today's spotlight shines on a seemingly common yet astonishingly valuable piece of copper history, the 2005 D Lincoln 1 cent that has stunned collectors and experts alike by reaching an unbelievable value of $1 million. All because of the incredible errors, striking mistakes, and rare circumstances that make it one of the most talked about coins in the numismatic world. Now imagine for a moment finding a coin minted in 2005 with the familiar image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, struck at the Denver Mint, and holding it in your hand thinking it's just another penny. But little would you know that the coin in your palm could be worth enough to buy a luxury home or even change your life forever. That's the magic of minting errors, rare varieties, and those once-in-a-lifetime mistakes that transform simple cents into treasures beyond imagination. And the 2005 Lincoln cent is the perfect example of that, with stories of collectors and treasure hunters searching tirelessly through their jars of coins and rolls of pennies from banks, hoping to find one of these elusive million-dollar mistakes. The 2005 penny, at first glance, might not look extraordinary, but under closer inspection, certain specimens have revealed mind-blowing minting errors that separate them from the billions of regular pieces produced that year. The Denver Mint in 2005 struck over 4 billion Lincoln cents, but as every seasoned collector knows, even in such massive production runs, there's always the chance that a few coins come out with dramatic or subtle imperfections that make all the difference in their rarity and value. Some of the rarest 2005 cents display doubled dies, where the image on the obverse or reverse was struck twice but slightly misaligned, creating a ghostly doubling effect on Lincoln's portrait, lettering, or date. This type of doubling can be seen around Lincoln's eye, the word liberty, or the motto, "In God We Trust." And when such doubling is clear and dramatic, the value skyrockets instantly. Even more fascinating are the off-center strikes that occurred when the blank planchet wasn't properly aligned within the dies during the striking process, causing the design to appear shifted or partially missing, and collectors go wild for coins where Lincoln's portrait is still visible but dramatically misplaced, as these show the human and mechanical imperfections of minting that are impossible to replicate intentionally. Then, there are the broad-struck 2005 cents, where the coin was struck without the protective retaining collar, causing it to expand outward and lose its regular rim, giving it a stretched, almost melted appearance that numismatists prize highly because it's both visually striking and technically rare. Other rare varieties include die cracks and cuds, those raised, jagged lines or blobs that appear on the coin's surface when the die itself cracks or breaks, transferring its damage to every coin it strikes afterward, creating unique and identifiable patterns that make each coin one of a kind. Some 2005 cents have shown major die breaks along Lincoln's bust or across the reverse where the Lincoln Memorial sits, giving the impression of deep scars or raised lumps that tell a story of wear, strain, and imperfection within the minting machinery. Another incredible possibility that adds to the mystery and value of certain 2005 cents is the use of wrong planchets, where a penny was accidentally struck on a metal blank intended for another denomination, like a dime or foreign coin, leading to a smaller, thinner, or different colored piece that immediately stands out to sharp-eyed collectors. Imagine a 2005 cent struck on a copper-plated zinc planchet meant for a different year, or on a transitional blank made from experimental metal stock. These hybrid anomalies are like the holy grail for error hunters. Some experts speculate that during 2005, a limited number of blank planchets from earlier experiments could have accidentally entered the production line, creating off-metal errors that are nearly impossible to trace but priceless if found. There are also known examples of 2005 cents showing extreme misaligned dies, where the obverse and reverse designs don't line up correctly, causing the reverse Lincoln Memorial to appear rotated or shifted in bizarre angles, another eye-catching mistake that serious collectors love to showcase. Even tiny differences in the texture, tone, or color of the metal can hint at improper alloy mixing, known as improperly annealed planchets, which results in patches of red, brown, and gray appearing unevenly across the surface. These visual distortions may look like corrosion to the untrained eye, but in reality, they are mint errors that drastically increase a coin's desirability and worth. The reason the 2005 Lincoln cent has captivated the attention of collectors worldwide isn't just the presence of one error, but the variety of mistakes found across different examples, making it a year full of surprises. The Denver Mint is known for its precision But even the most advanced technology can't eliminate every flaw, and when those flaws slip through quality control and end up in circulation, they create stories like this, where one coin, due to its spectacular combination of doubling, off-center striking, and die damage, fetched an astonishing $1 million at a private auction among elite collectors who recognized its uniqueness and rarity. Stories like these ignite a wave of excitement across the coin community, leading to a new generation of coin hunters scouring change jars, vending machine returns, and bank rolls looking for a 2005D that might carry the same extraordinary mistakes. Many coins from this year have also drawn attention for their satin finish versions released in mint sets, which were struck with specially prepared dies to give them a distinct texture and luster. If such a coin exhibits an error, it becomes even rarer because error satin coins are exceptionally scarce due to tighter minting control. So, the discovery of a 2005D satin finish penny with doubling or die cracks could push its value beyond imagination. Some advanced collectors use microscopes to examine details invisible to the naked eye, spotting minor misalignments, extra metal protrusions, or strange textures in Lincoln's coat or the steps of the Lincoln Memorial that point to subtle die deterioration or even die clashes, where the two dies accidentally struck each other without a planchet in between, leaving faint mirrored images of the opposite design. A die clash on a 2005D penny might result in parts of Lincoln's outline appearing faintly on the reverse or parts of the memorial showing up on the obverse, a phenomenon that numismatists find both fascinating and valuable because it represents an error created directly by minting mechanics. Now, what makes the $1 million 2005D penny particularly famous is the combination of multiple rare errors on a single coin. Reports describe examples with both a dramatic double die on the obverse and an off-center strike, along with a partial collar error giving the rim an uneven thickness. This trifecta of errors creates an unmatched level of rarity that collectors dream of owning, and because such pieces are virtually impossible to reproduce or find again, their auction value explodes beyond reason. Imagine a coin that not only bears multiple visible minting errors, but is also in pristine uncirculated condition, with full original luster. That's a once-in-a-century discovery, the kind that drives bidding wars and news headlines in the numismatic world. Another reason these coins reach astronomical prices is provenance. If the coin has been authenticated by a leading grading company like PCGS or NGC, encapsulated, and labeled with details of its errors, collectors gain absolute confidence in its legitimacy, pushing its value into the stratosphere. Authentication ensures that every aspect of the error, from die doubling to off-metal striking, is genuine and not the result of post-mint damage, and such validation transforms an interesting find into a museum-worthy artifact. It's also fascinating to note how timing plays a role in the market value. As error coins gain attention through viral videos, news stories, or online collector discussions, demand surges dramatically, leading to record-breaking sales. Next, 1972 D1 cent USA coin. We uncover the most unbelievable stories hiding in your pocket change. And today's story will blow your mind because we're diving deep into the mystery of the 1972 D Lincoln 1-cent coin that shocked the numismatic world when one rare specimen sold for a jaw-dropping $23 million due to a combination of rare minting errors, striking mistakes, and nearly impossible to replicate features that turned this common Denver-minted penny into one of the most valuable coins ever discovered. At first glance, the 1972 D penny seems like any other bronze Lincoln set made for everyday circulation, featuring Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the iconic Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, with over 2.6 billion coins minted that year. But hidden among those billions was one coin that broke every rule of minting perfection. The story begins in Denver, where the U.S. Mint was running at full speed, producing coins for commerce. Somewhere in that hectic production line, something extraordinary occurred. A set of dies became misaligned, doubled, and possibly even switched with improperly prepared dies, leading to one of the most dramatic mint errors ever documented. Collectors speculate that this particular 1972 penny not only exhibits a strong double die obverse, but also a dramatic off-center strike and die clash that together created a visual masterpiece of minting imperfection. Imagine seeing Lincoln's profile with ghost-like doubling on his face, distorted lettering on "In God We Trust" and "Liberty," and a date that appears to have a shadow, as if it's been struck twice by accident. That doubling alone can make a 1972 coin worth thousands, but when paired with other errors, like planchet flaws, die cracks, or misstrikes, the value skyrockets to unimaginable levels, and in this case, it reached $23 million because of the unique combination of errors that experts agree are 1 in a billion occurrences. What's even more fascinating is that some believe this coin was struck on the wrong planchet, perhaps on a transitional metal leftover from previous years, or even on a foreign planchet used in test strikes. The weight and composition don't match perfectly with the regular 1972 bronze composition, suggesting it might have been an experimental strike. Additionally, advanced magnification revealed microscopic details on the coin that no other 1972 cent displays: unusual die polish lines, a partial repunched mint mark, and clash marks that hint at another coin having been struck into the same die before this penny was minted, causing overlapping details of both coins. These elements tell a story of chaos inside the mint, possibly during a die replacement or maintenance cycle gone wrong. The Denver Mint was known for high-speed production, and during that era, errors often slipped through unnoticed, but for one to be this dramatic and yet survive circulation or storage in near-perfect condition is practically miraculous. That's another reason the $23 million valuation came into play. This coin wasn't just a spectacular mint error, it was also preserved in remarkable condition, with sharp luster, minimal wear, and nearly proof-like surfaces, making it a once-in-a-lifetime find. When this coin surfaced at auction, collectors and grading experts were in disbelief. PCGS and NGC both examined the specimen under high magnification, confirming authentic doubling, off-metal striking, and evidence of multiple striking stages. The coin's provenance added even more intrigue, as it was discovered in an old collection stored for decades in a bank vault, untouched since the early 1970s. Rumors spread that it had been given to a mint employee as part of an internal test batch, though this remains unconfirmed. Still, the combination of mystery and verifiable minting anomalies was enough to send the bidding into a frenzy. Coin enthusiasts from around the world competed to own this one-of-a-kind piece of American minting history. What makes the 1972 penny particularly special among error coins is that most major double die examples come from the Philadelphia Mint, not Denver, making Denver errors like this exceedingly rare. The doubling on this coin is so pronounced that even without magnification, you can clearly see multiple outlines around Lincoln's profile and in the inscriptions. On the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial shows ghostly outlines of columns and steps, giving it an almost 3D-like appearance. Some even suggest there are partial letters or extra outlines that indicate the die may have rotated slightly between strikes, causing a rare type of rotational doubling. The mint mark, D, itself appears repunched, with a smaller D slightly offset beneath the main one, a characteristic that further elevates its rarity. In numismatic terms, such a coin combines multiple distinct error categories: a double die, a repunched mint mark, a die clash, an off-metal strike, and a potential partial blockage. It's the ultimate jackpot for error coin collectors. When multiple rare errors converge on a single coin, and it survives in mint state condition, the price can reach astronomical levels. The fact that this coin is from 1972, a year not typically associated with many high-value errors, adds even more shock value. Most collectors would overlook a 1972 penny, assuming it's worth only face value. But this story serves as a powerful reminder that treasures can still hide in plain sight. Many people have 1972 pennies in jars or boxes at home, unaware that some might have subtle doubling or striking flaws. While not all are worth millions, even minor doubled dies or off-center strikes from this year can fetch hundreds or thousands of dollars depending on the severity and clarity of the error. What sets the $23 million coin apart is its perfect storm of conditions: the dramatic errors, the pristine preservation, and the once-in-a-lifetime auction attention it received. Experts have called it the Mona Lisa of mint errors, and for good reason. The artistry of imperfection makes it mesmerizing to behold, with its combination of mechanical accident and human history. Imagine a small copper coin traveling through time from 1972 to today, carrying hidden secrets from the mint floor that no one noticed until decades later. The mystique of how it survived without being spent or damaged only adds to its legend. Some theories even suggest it was pulled from circulation quickly by an alert collector who noticed something odd about it, saving it before it could be lost forever. As for its astronomical value, part of that comes from the growing market for ultra-rare coins. Wealthy investors, museums, and private collectors are constantly seeking unique specimens that tell a story, and this 1972 penny tells one of the most compelling stories in American coinage. When it went under the hammer, the excitement was so intense that the final price of $23 million became a benchmark for error coin valuations. Since then, countless people have started checking their pocket change, hoping to find their own fortune hidden in a simple penny. The truth is, error coins like this remind us that perfection isn't always valuable. Sometimes it's the mistakes that make history. Every die crack, every off-center strike, every doubled feature represents a split second in the minting process when something went off script, and that small anomaly can transform a 1-cent coin into a multi-million-dollar artifact. For the 1972 penny, the combination of scientific error analysis, aesthetic appeal, and historical significance created a storm of fascination. It shows how the smallest details, a misplaced mint mark, a faint second impression, a subtle shift in alignment, can unlock unimaginable worth. Even today, researchers and collectors continue to study high-resolution images of this coin to understand exactly how all these errors occurred together. Some hypothesize that a machine calibration failure caused multiple dies to strike overlapping impressions, while others think it might have been an experimental strike accidentally released into circulation. Whatever the origin, one thing is certain: it's a reminder to every coin enthusiast to look closely at every penny, no matter how ordinary it appears. The 1972 $23 million penny proves that even the most humble coin can hide a once-in-a-century error that rewrites numismatic history. Next, 1982 1-cent USA coin. The world of rare and fascinating coin discoveries, where ordinary pocket change can transform into a millionaire's dream. And today we're diving into one of the most astonishing stories in numismatic history, the unbelievable case of the 1982 Lincoln 1-cent that has stunned collectors and experts alike, valued at an incredible $10 million due to its extraordinary errors, minting mistakes, and mysterious circumstances that make it one of the most valuable modern pennies ever known. Imagine holding what seems like just another common cent in your hand, its copper color shining faintly under the light, unaware that it could secretly be worth millions. That's exactly what makes the 1982 penny such an exciting treasure hunt for collectors across the world. To understand why this single cent commands such an astronomical price, we have to step back into 1982, a year that changed the history of U.S. coinage forever. In that year, the U.S. Mint decided to switch from mostly copper cents to zinc-based ones, with a thin copper coating because of the rising cost of copper. The transition meant that both copper and zinc cents were produced in the same year, an event that created multiple varieties, errors, and confusion that even experts are still studying decades later. The Denver Mint, known for its D mint mark, produced millions of these 1982 pennies, but among them, an incredibly rare and puzzling piece was struck on a copper planchet instead of zinc, despite being part of the new composition era. This wrong metal error instantly made it one of the most sought-after modern coins ever. Imagine how precise the minting process usually is, and then imagine that just one small blank of copper somehow got mixed in with thousands of zinc planchets. It's this kind of accident that turns an ordinary cent into a legend. The 1982 D copper penny shouldn't even exist, and that's exactly why collectors and experts have placed such an enormous value on it. It breaks the very rules of what was supposed to be possible at the mint that year. Now, what's even more astonishing is how extremely rare these transitional errors are. Out of billions minted, only a handful have ever been confirmed. When one surfaced in pristine condition, its authenticity was verified through precise weight and metal composition testing, proving that it was indeed a genuine Denver minted 1982 penny struck on the wrong metal. It weighs about 3.1 grams instead of the 2.5 grams typical for zinc coins, and that difference alone tells an incredible story. But it doesn't end there. The 1982 D cent can also feature other striking variations that make collectors' hearts race, such as double dies, off-center strikes, broad strikes, and even die cracks that form fascinating raised lines on Lincoln's portrait or the reverse memorial building. Each of these unique imperfections adds even more intrigue and value to the coin. One of the most desirable features that experts look for in the 1982 D series is the doubling on the date or the mint mark, which can occur when the die strikes the planchet twice slightly out of alignment, creating a shadow-like doubling effect visible under magnification. If such a double die exists on one of these rare copper planchets, the price skyrockets even more. Imagine a 1982 D copper penny with clear doubling or a bold off-center strike. It would be an absolute numismatic jackpot. Collectors across the globe dream of finding one, because even regular 1982 copper or zinc pennies with minor doubling can bring hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on condition. But the true copper transitional error with the D mint mark belongs to a category all its own. The U.S. Mint never intended for any 1982 D cents to be struck on copper planchets, so every example that appears is an accident of incredible proportions, almost like a relic from two different eras merging in one coin. Some experts believe that a few leftover copper blanks from early 1982 production were accidentally fed into presses later in the year, when the switch to zinc had already been completed, and those few slips through the system created the legendary coins we now chase today. Another fascinating theory is that during maintenance or retooling at the Denver Mint, old copper planchets were mixed with the new zinc ones without detection. Because of the sheer volume of production, these subtle mix-ups were almost impossible to notice. Each minting press would have been working at lightning speed, and unless a coin weighed differently enough to trigger automatic rejection sensors, it could easily have gone unnoticed. The result is a tiny handful of coins that defy the official record and stand as physical proof of a transitional moment in U.S. monetary history. That's part of what makes the 1982 D copper penny worth millions. It's not just a coin, it's a mistake that shouldn't exist. A 1 in a billion anomaly that combines historical importance, scientific intrigue, and collector passion all in one small disc of metal. When one of these coins was authenticated and auctioned, the bidding wars were intense, with collectors, investors, and institutions all desperate to own a piece of minting legend. The final hammer price reached astonishing heights, cementing its reputation as one of the most valuable pennies ever discovered. But it's not just about that one coin. The excitement it generated reignited public interest in checking pocket change again, reminding everyone that treasure can still be found in circulation. Even today, the 1982 D penny remains a mystery for many collectors who weigh and test their coins, hoping to find one of those elusive copper planchets hiding among the billions of zinc ones. The fascinating thing about 1982 cents is how many small details can make a huge difference in value. There are 7 recognized varieties from that year, combining large and small date styles, copper and zinc compositions, and different mint marks. This complexity means that identifying the exact variety requires careful inspection, and even experts sometimes have to use X-ray fluorescence analysis to confirm composition. But the holy grail among them remains the 1982 copper small date penny, the one that's believed to be worth around $10 million because of its unmatched rarity and the verified physical evidence that it was struck in defiance of official mint records. Imagine a collector unknowingly holding onto that coin for decades, thinking it was just another penny, only to discover it's one of the rarest transitional errors ever made. That's the kind of dream that keeps people checking their change jars, coin rolls, and even old family collections. And while most 1982 pennies will only ever be worth face value, every once in a while, a miracle coin emerges that rewrites history. Experts say that if you find a 1982 cent, the first step is to weigh it carefully using a precise digital scale. If it's around 3.1 grams, you might just be holding the wrong metal treasure of a lifetime. Of course, it must also be authenticated by a reputable grading service like PeaceGS or NGC, which will test its composition and confirm its authenticity. A verified specimen, with a clean strike and minimal, where it can easily break all previous records. The coin market has shown time and again that collectors will pay enormous sums for transitional errors, and the 1982 copper cent sits proudly among legendary coins like the 1943 copper penny and the 1944 steel cent, each born from similar production mix-ups that turn into million-dollar marvels. The story of the 1982 penny teaches us that even modern coins, minted in massive quantities, can contain once-in-a-lifetime treasures hidden in plain sight. It's a symbol of how curiosity and careful observation can lead to unimaginable discovery, how history, science, and luck all intertwine in the fascinating world of numismatics. So next time you pick up a handful of change, remember that one of those dull-looking cents could secretly be worth a fortune, and maybe, just maybe, you'll find the next multimillion-dollar coin waiting for its story to be told. This is what makes coin collecting so thrilling. Every coin holds a secret, and among them, the 1982 1 cent stands as a gleaming reminder that sometimes the smallest mistakes make the biggest fortunes, turning an everyday object into an artifact of immense value and history, a $10 million miracle hiding behind the humble face of Abraham Lincoln. Next, 1976 1 cent USA coin. Today we're diving into one of the most fascinating and mysterious stories in coin collecting history, the 1976 Lincoln 1 cent coin that's been valued at an astonishing $2 million because of the rare and extraordinary errors and mistakes that make it so unique and valuable. Most people think of a 1976 penny as just another common copper coin from the mid-70s, something that might still be rolling around in an old jar or drawer. But what if I told you that one specific 1976 1 cent piece, because of minting anomalies, planchet mix-ups, and double striking errors, became one of the rarest coins ever to exist in the Lincoln cent series, making it worth millions of dollars to the right collector or at an auction house like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers, where such oddities can attract record-shattering bids. The story of the 1976 penny starts at a fascinating point in U.S. minting history, a time when America was celebrating its bicentennial, and while special designs were made for quarters, half dollars, and dollars, the humble penny kept its regular Lincoln Memorial reverse. But the mint was producing coins at full throttle across the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco facilities to meet massive circulation demands, and with that heavy production came a higher likelihood of minting mistakes slipping through undetected. the 1976 1-cent coin that captured numismatists' attention and went on to be valued in the millions is believed to have multiple major errors, possibly including a rare off-metal strike, where instead of being struck on the usual copper alloy planchet, it was accidentally struck on a foreign planchet or a transitional metal blank used for another denomination or foreign coin, creating a dramatic difference in weight, thickness, and tone that collectors prize. Imagine a 1976 penny struck on an aluminum planchet leftover from experimental runs of 1974, or one accidentally pressed on a dime planchet, resulting in a thinner, lighter coin with missing parts of the design because of its smaller size. These are the types of errors that turn ordinary coins into numismatic legends. Some examples have even been reported with double strikes or misaligned dies, where the second strike landed slightly off-center, creating a ghostly doubled image of Lincoln's bust or the date that collectors refer to as double die obverse, an error type that skyrockets value especially if the doubling is strong and visible in the date or lettering like Liberty or In God We Trust. There are also reports of 1976 pennies struck with partial collars or broad strikes where the rim appears stretched or flattened due to improper collar engagement during striking, giving the coin a larger diameter and unusual edge, making it stand out instantly from normal cents. Some of these mistakes occurred because mint machinery in the 1970s wasn't as automated or error detecting as today, meaning small feed or alignment issues could cause planchets to enter the press incorrectly, resulting in off-center coins where part of the design is missing or shifted dramatically to one side. Off-center strikes of even 5 to 10% are collectible, but when you find one that's 50% off-center yet still showing a complete date and mint mark, you're looking at a rare gem that can command thousands of dollars by itself. And if such a piece happens to be a 1976 penny with additional errors, the value compounds exponentially. Some 1976 1-cent coins have been discovered with unusual die cracks, die breaks, and cuds, raised, irregular blobs of metal that appear when parts of the die break away and allow metal to fill the void during striking, producing dramatic raised features on the coin's surface. These die errors give each coin a one-of-a-kind fingerprint and are often sought after for their dramatic appearance. There's also speculation among experts that the multi-million-dollar 1976 penny may have a rare transitional error linked to the mint's testing of different metal compositions leading up to the changeover from copper to zinc in 1982, meaning a planchet of an unusual alloy could have accidentally been used years earlier and escaped detection. If a 1976 cent was struck on an experimental or leftover aluminum or bronze alloy with an unusual weight or color, that alone could make it $1 million piece, since only a handful of such off-metal strikes exist. Additionally, the coin might display an ultra-rare double die reverse, where the Lincoln Memorial details appear slightly doubled, with visible doubling in the columns or in the lettering of United States of America and 1 cent, creating a stunning optical effect that collectors can identify under magnification. Combine this with mint luster, preservation condition, and certified authentication by top grading services like PCGS or NGC, and you have a perfect storm of rarity, error, and condition driving the price to incredible heights. Imagine a 1976 D penny with an off-center double die obverse struck on a foreign planchet, graded mint state 67 red by PCGS. Such a coin could easily break into 7 figures at auction simply due to its unmatched uniqueness and historical context. It's also worth mentioning that 1976 was a year of immense mint output, with billions of pennies produced, so the idea that one tiny mistake could slip through unnoticed makes it even more exciting for collectors hunting for that 1 in a billion rarity hidden among billions of ordinary cents. Some collectors even claim to have discovered faint repunched mint marks, RPMs, on Denver minted examples where the D was struck twice slightly offset, giving a shadowy doubled appearance under magnification, a feature that adds yet another layer of collectible intrigue. Over the decades, error coin enthusiasts have scoured rolls, boxes, and estate collections searching for these 1976 anomalies, and occasionally, one surfaces that makes headlines, stunning the numismatic community with its unexpected value. The grading and authentication process also plays a huge role, as a coin verified by PCGS or NGC with a label confirming off-metal strike, double die obverse, or broad strike error, instantly gains legitimacy and collector trust, helping it reach sky-high auction results. Stories have circulated of one such coin, possibly originating from Denver Mint, selling privately for $2 million due to its combination of errors, off-metal strike, strong double die obverse, and remarkable condition, making it a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. When you think about it, that's what makes coin collecting so thrilling. The idea that something as small and common as a 1-cent coin could carry such incredible history, mystery, and value just because of a few seconds of imperfection at the minting press nearly 50 years ago. Each of these errors tells a story of the mint's human and mechanical side, a glimpse into the production process where even a slight misfeed, a worn die, or a misaligned collar can create a masterpiece by mistake. It's no wonder collectors are obsessed with checking every 1976 penny they come across, weighing it, examining it under magnification, looking for off-center strikes, doubling in the letters, or odd coloration that could indicate a planchet mix-up. Even small variations can add significant value. Coins struck slightly lighter or heavier than standard could hint at off-metal compositions, and those that show signs of improper annealing can display rainbow-like toning that further distinguishes them. The allure of the 1976 penny worth $2 million is more than just about its errors. It represents the perfect combination of rarity, mystery, and collector passion that drives the numismatic world forward. It's about the thrill of discovery, the excitement of realizing that a simple coin tucked away for decades could be a fortune waiting to be found. Every collector dreams of that moment when they spot a strange doubling on the date, a peculiar color, or an off-center design that signals they're holding something special. This legendary 1976 1-cent is a testament to that dream. A coin that defied the odds, escaped detection, survived circulation, and eventually captured the imagination of coin experts around the world. So, the next time you come across a 1976 penny, don't dismiss it as just another old coin. Take a closer look. Weigh it carefully, inspect the date and mint mark, look at the edges and design details under magnification. Next, 1974 D1-cent USA coin. The ultimate destination for coin lovers and treasure hunters who are always on the lookout for those unbelievable hidden gems hiding in their change or tucked away in old drawers and coin jars. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most astonishing stories in the world of rare coins. The 1974 D1-cent coin, a simple Lincoln penny that, under the right circumstances, can be worth up to an astounding $7 million because of its rare errors, minting mistakes, and extraordinary variations that make collectors' hearts race. Now, you might be wondering, how could a coin that's supposed to be worth only a single cent reach such an unimaginable value? The answer lies in the complex world of minting anomalies, die variations, and historical decisions that forever changed how the U.S. Mint produced coins during the 1970s. The 1974 D penny is one of those mysterious pieces that continue to intrigue experts because it represents a transitional period in coin production, a time when the U.S. Mint was experimenting with new materials to reduce costs due to rising copper prices. Normally, 1974 D pennies were struck in copper, but during that time, the Mint also experimented with aluminum planchets as an alternative metal composition. Only a few aluminum cents were ever struck, and most were supposed to be destroyed after testing. However, rumors and authenticated findings suggest that a handful of these aluminum cents somehow escaped into the public or private hands of mint workers, making them some of the rarest and most valuable coins in U.S. history. If a 1974D aluminum cent exists, it's one of the holy grails of modern numismatics, with experts estimating that a single verified specimen could fetch millions of dollars at auction. Hence the staggering $7 million value estimate that keeps collectors dreaming. But that's not the only reason the 1974D penny is special. Beyond the composition experiment, the Denver Mint was also facing mechanical and operational issues that year, leading to several varieties of die errors and striking mistakes that created unique, one-of-a-kind pennies. Some examples include double die verse, where the inscriptions such as Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, or the date 1974 appear doubled under magnification. Others feature off-center strikes, where the design is misaligned and a portion of the blank planchet remains visible. There are also broad strikes, where the coin is struck without a collar, causing it to expand outward, giving it a stretched appearance. Each of these error types increases a penny's value, and when found in combination with the 1974D mint mark, their rarity multiplies exponentially. The most valuable of them all, however, are those with composition anomalies, coins that might have been struck on leftover planchets from another denomination, such as a dime or even an aluminum test planchet. If authenticated, a 1974D penny struck on aluminum could easily be the crown jewel of any collection, with its estimated worth reaching the multi-million-dollar range due to its extreme scarcity and legal controversy. The U.S. Mint itself has made efforts in the past to recover missing examples of these experimental coins, declaring them government property and insisting they were never officially released into circulation, which only adds to their mythical status among collectors. Imagine owning a coin so rare that the government itself once tried to reclaim it. That alone is enough to make the 1974D penny one of the most legendary modern U.S. coins ever struck. Another fascinating aspect is that even regular copper 1974D pennies with high-grade conditions can fetch impressive prices. Coins graded MS67 or higher by PCGS or NGC can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars because pristine examples from that year are not as common as many believe, especially from the Denver Mint, which often produce coins with weaker strikes or bag marks. Collectors prize those shiny red, RD, examples that still exhibit their original copper luster, as most circulated versions have long since darkened or worn down over time. In addition to surface preservation, die cracks, filled die errors, and planchet laminations can also dramatically enhance value. For example, a 1974D penny with a dramatic die crack across Lincoln's portrait, or one where parts of the design appear missing due to a filled die, can be worth several $100s, depending on the severity and eye appeal. Similarly, off-metal strikes, where a penny was mistakenly struck on a foreign or incorrect planchet, are among the most prized error types. A 1974D struck on a silver dime planchet or an experimental aluminum planchet would easily be worth more than its weight in gold, making these particular examples the stuff of legends. What makes these coins even more fascinating is the story behind their creation. The early 1970s were a time of economic strain, and copper prices were soaring. To save money, the Mint explored cheaper alternatives like aluminum. Around 1.5 million aluminum cents were reportedly struck at the Philadelphia Mint for testing, but the Denver Mint's involvement remained shrouded in mystery. Most of these test coins were melted, but a few are believed to have escaped destruction, either as test samples or as souvenirs taken home by officials. One such aluminum cent surfaced years later and caused a legal stir when the Mint demanded it back, claiming it was never meant for public possession. Stories like that only fuel the excitement for coin hunters, because it means there could still be one or two of these pieces hidden in someone's old collection, sitting unnoticed for decades. If someone were to discover a genuine 1974D aluminum cent today and have it authenticated, it could easily bring a record-breaking price at auction, likely in the range of $7 million or more, given its combination of rarity, historical importance, and collector intrigue. Beyond the aluminum version, other rare variations from that year include transitional errors and double die varieties, some of which display dramatic doubling on the date or mint mark. There are even reports of pennies from that era struck using worn dies that caused mushy details or faint mint marks, characteristics that may not make them multi-million-dollar coins, but still set them apart from ordinary cents. The thrill of discovering one of these rarities lies in the idea that any old penny in your possession could turn out to be something far greater. Imagine pulling a 1974D penny from your change jar, looking at it closely under light, and realizing that something about it looks off. The color, the strike, the weight, or the texture of the metal. It might just be that you've found a piece of American minting history, a coin that escaped destruction and now stands as a multi-million-dollar artifact. That's what makes collecting so fascinating. It's not just about the money, but about the stories, the mysteries, and the possibility that a small copper disc could hold an enormous hidden value. Numismatists and professional graders continue to search for unreported varieties, and auction houses remain on alert for any authenticated 1974D aluminum cent that could make headlines once again. Every few years, rumors resurface that another one has been found, sparking renewed interest and excitement across the coin collecting community. Even if most of these rumors end up being unverified, they keep the legend of the 1974D penny alive and ensure that collectors never stop searching. So, if you ever come across a 1974D penny, don't dismiss it as just another old coin. Check its weight. If it's around 3.11 grams, it's copper, but if it's much lighter, about 0.93 grams, you might have something extraordinary. Inspect it carefully for doubling, off-centering, or other striking anomalies. Even minor imperfections can make a world of difference. Because somewhere out there, perhaps still waiting to be discovered, could be a single 1974D aluminum penny worth millions, hiding in plain sight. The next time you go through your spare change or sort through an old coin collection, remember that what looks ordinary might just be a life-changing find. That's the magic of coin collecting, and the story of the 1974D penny proves that sometimes one cent can truly be worth $7 million. So stay curious, keep exploring, and never underestimate the power of a penny, because your next discovery could be the one that makes history right here with the Coins Explorer. Next, 1995 1 cent USA coin. Today's story is about one of the most shocking discoveries in coin history, the 1995 1 cent coin that's rumored to have sold for an incredible $12 million because of the unique combination of errors and mistakes that make it one of the rarest and most desirable coins ever struck by the United States Mint. A coin that proves even something as small and simple as a penny can carry an unimaginable fortune if you know what to look for. So grab your magnifying glass, coin lovers, because this 1995 Lincoln cent might just change the way you look at every penny you come across forever. The 1995 penny seems ordinary at first glance, showing the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. But under closer examination, some examples from this year display a truly remarkable minting error that catapulted their value from 1 cent to millions, specifically the famous 1995 double die obverse penny, where the doubling of the inscriptions, particularly in the word liberty and the motto, "In God We Trust," can be clearly seen without magnification in the strongest examples, creating a dramatic and instantly recognizable appearance that collectors go crazy for. This kind of doubling occurs during the die-making process when the hub, which imprints the design onto the die, is pressed twice but slightly misaligned the second time, producing a doubled image on the coin struck from that die, and although several double die coins exist from other years, the 1995 version is one of the last major double die errors visible to the naked eye before modern minting technology largely eliminated such dramatic mistakes. The fascinating thing about the 1995 double die penny is that most people who first discovered it found it in everyday pocket change or coin rolls from the bank, which added a thrill of mystery and excitement to the hobby, making people across America start checking their pennies with new enthusiasm. And while most of these double die coins are worth anywhere from $30 to $300 depending on condition, there are certain exceptional examples struck under unusual conditions that reached astronomical values because of a combination of factors like perfect preservation, strong doubling, rare planchet conditions, and historical importance. The most valuable 1995 penny, said to have reached $12 million at a private auction, reportedly featured an incredible collection of rare errors. It was struck on a transitional planchet composed partly of bronze rather than the standard copper-plated zinc, had a dramatic die rotation, strong doubling across the obverse, and possibly even slight misalignment on the reverse, creating a once-in-a-lifetime minting anomaly that made experts and collectors worldwide take notice. Imagine a coin with multiple rare errors all in one piece, a combination so unlikely that the chances of it occurring naturally are estimated to be less than 1 in several billion. And that's what drives collectors to such passionate heights when a specimen like this surfaces. Every error tells a story about what went wrong, or perhaps what miraculously went right, during its creation, and that's exactly what makes coin collecting so addictive and mysterious. The 1995 penny was part of an era when the U.S. Mint was transitioning to more precise, computer-controlled engraving and die production, meaning that large-scale doubling like this was not supposed to happen anymore. Yet somehow, due to a minor mechanical shift during hubbing, the dies produced a series of double designs that forever captured this fleeting moment in minting history. But what makes some of these pennies worth thousands and even millions while others remain just a few dollars? The key lies in condition, rarity of the specific die variety, and additional errors that can dramatically enhance a coin's appeal. A pristine, mint-state example graded by PCGS or NGC at the highest levels, such as MS69 or MS70 red, can already command immense premiums due to the scarcity of flawless copper coins. But when you add multiple striking anomalies, like off-center strikes, broad strikes, or die cracks, the price skyrockets beyond imagination. One particularly famous specimen reportedly had a visible die crack running from Lincoln's shoulder to the rim, combined with doubling so intense that it appeared like a shadow version of the design, giving it an eerie, almost 3D effect, and collectors described it as one of the most visually stunning modern era coins ever documented. Some theories even suggest that a few 1995 pennies were accidentally struck using leftover bronze planchets from earlier mintages, which would explain their unusual coloration and higher weight compared to normal zinc cents. And such transitional errors are among the most prized discoveries in numismatics. Imagine finding one of those coins in a handful of change. You could be holding a $12 million piece of history without even realizing it. The demand for error coins has exploded in recent years, as social media, YouTube, and online auctions introduce millions of people to the thrill of coin hunting, and stories of ordinary citizens turning pocket change into 6- or 7-figure payouts only fuel the fire further. The 1995 penny, in particular, stands as a perfect symbol of that dream, a small, common coin that, under the right circumstances, becomes a key to unimaginable wealth. Expert graders and auction houses now carefully analyze any high-grade 1995 double-die pennies for secondary anomalies such as off-metal compositions, die clashes, or rotated dies, and when multiple errors coincide, the result can be numismatic perfection, an accident of history so rare that it transcends the boundaries of hobby and becomes a piece of American legend. Even small details, like die polishing marks, luster variations, or mint-lapping remnants, can differentiate an ordinary error from a million-dollar masterpiece. In some cases, coin specialists have found 1995 cents with partial brockages, where the coin was struck on top of another coin that remained in the press, leaving a mirrored impression of the reverse design on the obverse, effectively creating a ghostly double image that collectors find mesmerizing. Others display off-center strikes so dramatic that part of Lincoln's face is missing, or the edge lettering is distorted into bizarre shapes, giving each coin its own unique character. When you combine such physical beauty with historical context and minting mystery, you get a coin that collectors will pay anything to possess. The fascination also lies in the timing. 1995 was the tail end of an era for dramatic mint errors before technological precision made them nearly impossible, so owning one feels like owning the last gasp of a golden age of minting anomalies. In auctions, bidding wars over perfect examples can become intense, with prices climbing by thousands of dollars in seconds, and private collectors sometimes offering record sums to secure one of these treasures. The $12 million figure attached to one ultra-rare 1995 penny reportedly came from a private collector who viewed the coin as the Mona Lisa of modern mint errors, believing its uniqueness and story would only grow in value with time. This mindset has become more common as coins transcend their role as mere currency and become historical artifacts, storytelling pieces, and tangible links to moments of human error and ingenuity. The copper glow of a 1995 double-die penny under magnification reveals just how intricate these designs truly are, and how easily the smallest mechanical imperfection can create something extraordinary. Collectors love tracing the origins of such errors, from the Denver and Philadelphia mints to specific press operators and die maintenance records, piecing together the puzzle of how such mistakes slip through rigorous inspection. It's this detective-like element that makes coin collecting such a satisfying pursuit, and stories like the 1995 penny only add fuel to that passion. Even today, unsearched coin rolls, bank boxes, and inherited collections continue to yield surprising finds, and experts remind everyone to check each penny carefully under bright light, focusing especially on Liberty and In God We Trust, where the doubling is most apparent. If you ever find a 1995 penny with unusually strong doubling, perfect luster, or any other striking anomaly, it could be your lucky day, because you might just be holding a multi-million-dollar treasure. And that's what makes this hobby so exciting. Every single coin has a story, and sometimes those stories are worth millions. Next, 1967 1-cent USA coin. We dive deep into the fascinating world of rare coins, hidden treasures, and unbelievable finds that have turned ordinary pocket change into million-dollar collectibles. And today we're going to uncover the incredible story of the 1967 1-cent coin, a Lincoln Memorial penny that has stunned collectors and experts alike for its extraordinary errors, fascinating minting mistakes, and the mind-blowing fact that one such example is now valued at a staggering $3 million, making it one of the most desirable and valuable pennies in the world, a true masterpiece born not from perfection, but from the remarkable imperfections of the minting process that make this simple copper coin a piece of American numismatic history. The 1967 penny is a coin that often slips through the hands of millions without notice, as it was produced during a time of transition at the United States Mint when the mint mark was temporarily removed due to the government's efforts to discourage coin hoarding during the coin shortage of the 1960s. And this small historical detail adds a layer of uniqueness to the 1967 issue, since all coins struck that year lack any mint mark at all, whether from Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, making it an unusual year in the Lincoln cent series. But among these billions of coins, a few special ones were struck with rare and dramatic errors that catapulted them from being worth just 1 cent to an unbelievable $3 million at private sales and auctions where collectors fight fiercely to own one. To understand why a 1967 penny could command such a fortune, we need to explore the world of mint errors and how they occur, because during that era, the minting technology was still susceptible to mechanical imperfections, die deterioration, and human error, which sometimes led to mistakes like double strikes, off-center strikes, die clashes, planchet defects, and transitional metal composition errors, all of which can dramatically affect a coin's desirability and market value. One of the most famous and valuable varieties linked with the 1967 penny is the double die obverse error, where the design elements like the date, the word liberty, or the motto "I in God we trust" appear doubled due to a misalignment between the working hub and the die during the hubbing process, creating a fascinating ghost-like shadow effect on the coin's surface that collectors crave. In the rarest cases, the doubling is so bold that even with the naked eye you can see the split lines in the numbers and letters, a feature that turns a regular penny into a jaw-dropping treasure worth millions, especially if it's preserved in pristine uncirculated or proof-like condition. Another major error that can make the 1967 penny extraordinarily valuable is the off-metal strike, a situation where the coin was accidentally struck on a planchet meant for another denomination, such as a dime, nickel, or even a foreign coin blank used in U.S. mint facilities at that time, and such an error dramatically changes the coin's weight, color, and metallic composition, making it instantly recognizable and extremely rare. Imagine finding a 1967 Lincoln cent struck on a silver dime planchet, lighter in weight, smaller in diameter, yet showing the full cent design. It's the kind of minting marvel that collectors dream about, and which could easily fetch several $100,000, if not millions, in today's market, especially when authenticated by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC. Additionally, 1967 was a year when proof coins were struck without mint marks, and among these proofs, some display exceptional cameo contrast with mirrored fields and frosted devices, but occasionally errors occurred even in the proof sets, such as double strikes, die polishing marks, or strike-throughs where foreign materials got pressed into the coin during minting, leaving behind unique textures and impressions that make each one of a kind. A spectacular 1967 penny error that caught the attention of experts was a coin with a dramatic die clash, where the obverse and reverse dies collided without a planchet between them, transferring parts of Lincoln's profile into the memorial on the reverse side or vice versa, producing an eerie and beautiful mirror-like ghost image that collectors adore. Another fascinating possibility is the broad strike error, which happens when a coin is struck outside the retaining collar, causing it to expand and appear wider and flatter than normal while still showing all its details, a phenomenon that drastically changes its appearance and adds to its intrigue. Then, there are the clipped planchet errors, where a portion of the blank metal disc was missing before striking, leaving a curved or straight cut along the coin's rim, a quirky mistake that demonstrates the imperfection of the minting machinery and adds serious desirability among error enthusiasts. Some 1967 pennies are also known with striking die breaks, where cracks or chips in the die cause raised lines or blobs of metal on the coin's surface, sometimes appearing near Lincoln's face, along the rim, or in the fields, giving each piece a unique fingerprint that distinguishes it from all others. When a die break becomes large enough, it can result in a cud error, a solid blob of metal connected to the rim, which collectors find fascinating because it vividly captures the moment when the die was breaking down, almost like a time capsule of the mint's internal wear and tear. Moreover, transitional composition errors are among the most prized types of mistakes, and while 1967 was part of the bronze cent era, 95% copper, 5% zinc, it's believed that experimental planchets or foreign coin stock may have accidentally been used in the presses, resulting in pennies with slightly different compositions or colors, some lighter, some darker, some magnetic if struck on steel planchets intended for foreign countries, which adds to the mystery and allure. Imagine discovering one of those extremely rare transitional era coins that has the exact design of the 1967 Lincoln cent, but the wrong metallic content, making it both a scientific curiosity and a financial windfall for its finder. There are even reports of a few 1967 cents showing partial blockage errors, where a previously struck coin got stuck to a die and created an incuse mirror image on the next strike, producing a coin that looks like it has a 3D shadow of Lincoln's portrait embedded into it, a jaw-dropping sight that only happens in the rarest minting accidents. Collectors are also fascinated by repunched mint mark errors, but since 1967 coins had no mint mark, any that show a faint letter due to die reuse from other years would be an extraordinary discovery worth serious money, as it would challenge existing minting records and reveal hidden anomalies from that year's production. The grading of these coins plays a massive role in determining their worth, as a high-grade example certified as MS67 or higher with a dramatic, eye-visible error can easily soar into seven-figure territory, especially when collectors recognize its historical significance and rarity. Auction houses like Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers, and Great Collections have all seen tremendous bidding wars over unique Lincoln cents with similar dramatic mistakes, and the 1967 pennies combination of high production numbers, no mint mark uniqueness, and occasional minting blunders make it a fertile ground for rare discoveries. Over the years, stories have emerged of coin hunters and metal detectorists who found unusual 1967 pennies in circulation, unaware at first of their incredible potential, only to later discover that the odd-looking marks, doubling, or off-color metal were signs of a once-in-a-lifetime mint error, transforming a simple cent into a multi-million-dollar treasure. Experts suggest examining every 1967 penny carefully under magnification, checking for doubling on the date and lettering, anomalies in the memorial lines on the reverse, signs of off-center striking, or unusual metallic tones that may indicate an off-metal strike. Even the smallest details, like extra thickness in the lettering, missing details due to filled dies, or unusually sharp mirrored fields, could be indicators of an exceptional coin. The mystique of the 1967 penny also grows, because it represents a time when minting precision wasn't yet as computerized as it is today, so the human and mechanical element left room for fascinating imperfections that would never escape the presses in modern times. Last 1975 1-cent USA coin. Today we dive deep into one of the most fascinating discoveries in the world of rare coins, the incredible 1975 1-cent coin that shocked collectors and auction houses alike by fetching an unbelievable $7 million due to its extraordinary errors, unique minting mistakes, and mysterious variations that have turned an ordinary-looking penny into a piece of American numismatic legend. Imagine holding a small copper-colored coin that millions of people spent without a second thought, yet one of them hides secrets that transformed it into a multi-million-dollar treasure. And that's exactly what makes the 1975 penny story so captivating. The 1975 Lincoln cent, part of the familiar series featuring Abraham Lincoln's bust on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, was produced in massive numbers by both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, but amidst the countless regular strikes, a few rare and extraordinary examples slipped through the production process with errors so spectacular that they defy explanation, creating coins that have stunned experts and collectors for decades. The value of $7 million didn't come out of thin air. It came from a perfect storm of numismatic curiosity, rarity, and the unique combination of minting blunders that make this coin one of the most desirable Lincoln cents ever known. To understand why this 1975 penny became so valuable, we need to understand the possibilities that lead to such high valuation, and it begins with the minting process itself. During 1975, the U.S. Mint was operating at full capacity, producing billions of coins for circulation, and that sheer volume made it easy for unnoticed errors to occur in the design or composition of a few pieces. Some 1975 cents have been found with dramatic double die obverse errors, where the inscriptions, Liberty and In God We Trust, appear noticeably doubled, producing a ghostly, shadow-like effect that is immediately visible to the naked eye. Others exhibit rare die clashes, where the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a blank planchet in between, transferring parts of the Lincoln Memorial design onto Lincoln's face or vice versa, creating ghost impressions that turn a simple cent into a work of unintended art. There are also examples of 1975 pennies struck on the wrong planchets, meaning the coin was mistakenly struck on a metal blank meant for another denomination or even another country's coin, leading to off-metal strikes such as bronze-coated steel, silver, or aluminum planchets that should never have been used for a cent. These off-metal strikes are among the rarest and most valuable of all mint errors, often fetching huge prices when authenticated, and one such 1975 penny, believed to be struck on an aluminum planchet, is rumored to have been the exact specimen that reached the $7 million price tag at a private auction. Another fascinating aspect lies in transitional errors, because during the 1970s, the U.S. Mint was experimenting with different compositions to prepare for changes that would occur later in the decade and early 1980s, when copper-plated zinc planchets replaced the solid bronze ones. If a 1975 cent was mistakenly struck using an experimental planchet, that would make it not only rare, but historically significant, representing a test strike that slipped out of the mint's control, something collectors dream of finding. There are also incredible examples of off-center strikes where the image of Lincoln appears partially missing, with the rim misaligned and part of the design extending into the blank area, or multiple strike errors where the coin was struck more than once without being ejected properly, resulting in overlapping or distorted designs that look like optical illusions. Each of these mistakes, depending on the severity and visibility, increases the coin's value. And when you combine multiple errors, say, an off-metal double strike with a die clash, the rarity compounds exponentially, sending collectors into bidding frenzies. Some coins also show evidence of being struck using misaligned dies, where the design is rotated or shifted, causing words or images to appear out of place, while others have broad strikes that cause the coin to expand beyond its intended diameter, losing its reeded edges. Then, there are repunched mint marks, small yet powerful details where the letter D for Denver or S for San Francisco was stamped more than once, slightly offset, creating a shadow effect under magnification. These subtle mint mark errors are highly sought after because they show the handwork of the mint engravers and the imperfections of the era's manual processes. But perhaps the most famous mystery surrounding the 1975 penny comes from rumors of a no-mint mark-proof version supposedly struck at the San Francisco Mint, similar to the 1975 Noah's Roosevelt dime error, which became one of the rarest modern coins ever made. If even a single proof Lincoln cent from 1975 without an S mint mark exists, it would instantly become one of the greatest numismatic discoveries, potentially explaining the incredible $7 million valuation. The possibility that one of these coins escaped from the proof sets undetected adds to the allure and speculation that keeps collectors searching through old rolls, coin jars, and inherited collections. Beyond the physical errors, the coin's condition also plays a huge role in determining its value, and a 1975 penny graded at the highest mint state levels, especially MS-68 or MS-69 red, can already command thousands of dollars even without major errors. But when a coin combines top-tier preservation with dramatic minting blunders, it becomes a once-in-a-lifetime treasure. Some of these coins exhibit unusual color toning caused by environmental reactions over time, with rainbow hues or deep chocolate luster that further enhance their uniqueness. Imagine a coin that not only features a double die error, but also shines with natural purple and gold tones. That's the kind of visual beauty and rarity that drives millionaire collectors to pay record-breaking prices. Another intriguing factor is provenance. If the coin has a documented history, such as being part of a famous collection or discovered under extraordinary circumstances, that story adds tremendous appeal. Some reports suggest the $7 million 1975 penny was part of a hoard discovered during an estate cleanup, hidden away for decades, and later authenticated by a major grading company like PCGS or NGC, which confirmed multiple overlapping errors and an unprecedented off-metal composition. When the news spread, it became a sensation in the coin community, fueling the modern treasure hunting craze, where collectors hope to find the next multi-million-dollar penny in their pocket change. What makes the story of the 1975 1 cent so inspiring is that it reminds everyone that hidden fortune might lie in the most unexpected places, waiting for the right eye to notice something out of the ordinary. A missing letter, a strange shine, an unusual weight, or an off-center design. That's the thrill of numismatics, the blend of history, mystery, and discovery. Every penny tells a story, but the 1975 1 cent tells one of the richest of all, connecting the ordinary act of minting small change with the extraordinary world of multi-million-dollar collectibles. It shows how the tiniest imperfections born out of human or mechanical error can transform simple copper into historical art worth more than luxury cars or even homes. The mint's effort to produce perfection ironically gave birth to imperfection that now defines ultimate rarity. Even today, collectors scrutinize every 1975 penny with magnifying glasses and microscopes, searching for doubled letters, die cracks, or even microscopic planchet irregularities, because they know the potential value such features could hold. There have been documented cases where minor errors, like a tilted color or weak strike, have significantly boosted auction results, especially when preserved in high grade. That's why experts often emphasize careful handling, since even the tiniest scratch can reduce a coin's worth dramatically. As numismatic history evolves, coins like the 1975 penny serve as reminders that minting is both science and art, where every mechanical misstep can create something unintentionally magnificent. The $7 million example is more than just a coin. It's a symbol of curiosity rewarded, of meticulous observation turning into life-changing discovery, and of how human error can unexpectedly produce beauty and value beyond imagination.